By the time the HOA sent fake cops to bulldoze my ranch fence, I realized that Karen and her minions had escalated from petty harassment to outright aggression. It wasn't just a disagreement over dues or BBQs anymore. This was an attempt to physically invade my property and assert dominance, and they did so under the illusion of authority. The men arrived mid-morning, heavy-set, wearing uniforms that looked official but weren't, and armed with an attitude that screamed entitlement. Their mission: tear down the fence and send a message that resistance would be crushed. I had anticipated such a move long before it happened. Cedar Pines had always been a powder keg of entitlement, and Karen had shown a dangerous pattern of escalating retaliation. Months ago, I had reinforced the ranch's perimeter, installing hidden cameras, reinforced gates, and security systems that could alert me immediately to intrusion. But more importantly, I had cultivated a network of allies, some with military and tactical experience, who were more than capable of handling threats without causing collateral damage. I knew that if Karen and her fake cops thought they could intimidate me, they were about to be in for a rude awakening. The moment they drove onto my property, the ground subtly triggered motion sensors, alerting me to their exact location. I watched in real time as the men fumbled with tools, clearly expecting little resistance. The first swing of the bulldozer's blade toward my fence was met not with passive complaints, but with a series of automated deterrents I had set in place. Sirens, floodlights, and non-lethal barriers that forced the vehicle to slow, then stop. Confused and panicked, the intruders tried to coordinate, but every move they made played directly into my hands. I decided it was time to escalate. I approached the scene, calm, collected, and unarmed at first, letting the psychological weight of my presence work against them. These men were trained to respond to authority, to assert control through intimidation, but they were not prepared for someone who radiated confidence, knowledge, and lethal readiness without needlessly provoking violence. My background in tactical operations and command experience immediately tilted the balance. "Gentlemen," I called out, my voice carrying across the property, "you are on private land. Cease your actions immediately or face consequences." They laughed nervously, mistaking me for another ordinary homeowner. That was their first mistake. I had not just prepared, I had anticipated. Within moments, the men realized that their tools were useless, that every path forward had been controlled, and that their attempt at aggression was about to fail spectacularly. When they tried to force the bulldozer forward, hidden immobilizers kicked in, locking the vehicle in place. I had also coordinated with nearby law enforcement under the guise of routine security checks, meaning backup was on the way, but the men didn't know that. They were isolated, trapped on my terms, and slowly beginning to understand that their authority meant nothing here. By the time the first police cruiser arrived, the intruders were already scrambling, attempting to retreat through my property in a panic. I didn't need to intervene physically. Their panic, combined with the immobilized equipment and strategic positioning, ensured that they were completely disoriented. The officers quickly identified them as imposters, fake cops with no jurisdiction, who had trespassed and attempted property destruction. Arrests were made, and the HOA's reputation took a massive hit. Karen, of course, was incensed. She stormed onto the scene, yelling, blaming everyone except herself. But the damage was done. Her minions had been humiliated, her authority publicly undermined, and her HOA exposed as a group willing to use deception and intimidation against their neighbors. From that moment forward, every interaction with her was colored by the knowledge that I had prepared, anticipated, and neutralized an assault that she had assumed would succeed. After the incident, I walked the perimeter of my ranch, inspecting the fence for minor scratches and noting the areas where I had improved security. This confrontation wasn't just about physical defense, it was about psychological dominance. Karen and her fake cops had learned a lesson they would not forget. Invading someone's property, no matter how self-righteous the justification, was a gamble they were guaranteed to lose if the target was prepared. That day, the bulldozers left intact only in theory. In practice, the message was clear. In Cedar Pines, I dictated the boundaries of my property. Karen's obsession with control and aggression had met its match, and the entire neighborhood witnessed firsthand the consequences of underestimating someone who had both preparation and authority. My ranch remained my sanctuary, my defenses intact, and Karen's aura of untouchable power had suffered a major, public defeat.